Good idea. Bad execution? Shadowrun Chronicles, Boston Lockdown. Oi chummers, this is the first episode of Good Idea, Bad Execution, where I take a look at games I've played and enjoyed, but just dropped. Why did I? What could have kept me going? What factors of the game's playstyle could have been tweaked? All that good stuff. This doesn't mean I'm saying that this is a terrible game that should be condemned. It just means I think it could have been much better. This was a greenlit game, Steam greenlight, once upon a time, but so was Mordheim and Darkest Dungeon, which were ridiculously good games. An RPG strategy MMO, something that I've really fallen off with. I've stopped playing MMOs, but this was really interesting to me because I'm a fan of Shadowrun, and I think every fan of Shadowrun would like to see a Shadowrun game in this vein brought to life. As to why, I should probably hit you with some of the backstory. The Mayan calendar predicted the end of the world as we all knew it. Doom and destruction, but what they meant by this was that the world would move into a new cycle. The sixth world, which brought magic back. Not just that, but normal everyday humans began to change. Some were born with tusks, and others with similar abnormalities. Orcs, trolls, and a host of other fantasy races found themselves alongside normal humans. The changes to the significant number of the populace caused widespread fear and animosity. Pro-human groups emerged, as well as other groups that made life difficult for members of specific metahuman races. A way to plug your consciousness directly into computer systems, known as the Matrix, was discovered, and companies, after violent incident, after terrible atrocity, became recognized as their own sovereign nations by the courts of every nation, and soon found themselves stronger than many countries. The world is tough and gritty. To get what must be done discreetly in this world, Shadowrunners are hired. I'll let the game fill you in on who they are. The story is, as you would expect, a plot by a powerful corporation, a new terror in the form of a strange new technology, and the people caught in the crossfire. Standard Shadowrun, and you'll learn all about the world. But certain in-game issues could spoil the story for you later down the road. Also, the voice acting is alright. They're from Boston, nothing against my Boston Pack members, but hey. Character creation is great. Troll, dwarf, orc, and all the meta variants look very distinct. It depends on whether or not you like the specific art style that they went for. It really doesn't bother me, but I have noted that a lot of players were just very upset with that. You see, there is ample choice for how your character looks on the other side of the coin, but just not in the portrait department. I mean, I can put sideburns on our little elf's face, so it can't be all that bad, right? The special perks are a nice role-playing mechanic. Your background influences how good you are at certain things. If your main focus is guns, probably don't take anything that makes you weaker in that area, for example. Our little rat shaman, Squeak, yeah, I did it. She's going to be fairly skilled at organ harvesting. Imagine that. There are two weapon types that you can have at any given time. These weapon types decide your character's combat skills. Squeak has a sword and a shaman's focus. so she can fight well up close and make use of the lovely bear that everyone summons devoid of spirit animal. It would have been, awesome to be able to summon a giant rat or maybe a neutral spirit that didn't really have a distinct form. The fact that it's shaped like a bear for everyone kind of bugs me out, and it bugged me out at the beginning of the game whenever I had a shaman who was, I don't know, a snake shaman. But hey, if you want, you can work through it. Apparently there's just a lot of bear spirits in Boston. You can summon a wind spirit later on, but just kind of feels like there was more to be included. But it just didn't make the final cut. As you explore the world, you earn new items of clothing and other rarities that you can sell and possibly that you can use to augment yourself. Need to put a little pep in your step? Get chromed out at the dock with a cyber leg. Magical characters that decide to get some new hardware will take a hit to their magic ability like in normal Shadowrun. Sadly, every time you get a shiny new arm, your spirit cries. Alright, so combat. This I think is one of the biggest issues. So I said before that you essentially have the weapons to derive combat abilities from. These pools are not super deep. It's basically a choice between two options for the most part. Fine. But let's take a shaman for example. The wind spirit unlock that you can get later on in the game is great. But what if you could choose between that and say a fire, earth, or water spirit? You do also get a wolf spirit, I do believe, which is also possible, but hey, let's add some more variety, you know what I mean? All would do different things, but, kind of look similar. Earth has more HP, fire does more damage, water has a heal, yada yada. It would be pretty cool if the tech trees got a bit deeper, is what I'm saying. As time goes on, you know what I mean? So despite having two shamans on a team who vary in secondary weapons and a few opposite tech tree picks, they could have very, very large differences to make each shaman stand out. If you're looking for a bit of solo play, the runners you can hire only have access to one of their weapons. So they're kind of half effective in a way. A shotgun blast to the face is great. I mean, nobody complains about that. Well, except for the person who's taking it. But the addition of a bear spirit or heal would be wonderful. I feel like this is so you're kind of encouraged to play with other people in this online multiplayer game, but sometimes it hurts to try to find a mission. Sometimes it hurts to try a mission solo only to find out that you just need to grab a few people with multiple abilities. Here I have Mouse, who is a hacker slash pistol character. I got to team with a guy who's a sword slash hacker. Decker, if you still use that term. It's a little nebulous in Shadowrun, don't worry about it. You'll notice he's a lot stronger than me. I'll get to that fairly soon. So as you can see, the fighting does have the XCOM feel. There are a few slow-mos on particularly good kills, and there is cover. We can hack these turrets to give us a fighting chance, and everyone fights a bit differently, so there is use of our hacking skills, and there will be use further down the line for other skills that you pick up. I've heard a lot of people fairly angry about there being a lack of Overwatch. Essentially, in XCOM and both Shadowrun Returns, I'll talk about Shadowrun Returns soon, essentially, if you don't have an attack this turn, you go into a mode where if an enemy walks your way in your general radius that you can shoot them, you take an attack, you take a shot. It would add more depth, I think, that really is kind of needed in this game. Depth. I think that's the name of the game. In another Shadowrun game, Shadowrun Returns, there were a lot of things like magical fields to hinder enemies who walked in a certain direction, and a lot of different spells to kind of vary how you played and how you styled your character. There is strategy here, but I think that there is room to deepen the combat. Karma! Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about this. So in Shadowrun, you earn karma. You use this karma to get abilities, and the spending of this karma is kind of free form in the RPG as well as in this game. In the game's earlier days, the name of the game was more karma equals more skills. I found myself quickly getting paired with people who were stronger than me and further along in the story, but were either dropping back to do missions that they kind of already did just so that they could pick up the karma, or trying to get over that hump of just doing a mission and just taking whoever they could into their party to just give them a better chance at winning. So I had quite a few of the plot points ruined for me a few hours before I would even get to them. If there was a way to separate players based on their karma points, maybe I would have stuck around longer. 0 to 50 karma is, like a newbie. 50 to 100 is normal. Just a little thing, a little icon maybe near the name that let me know this person would breeze through anything my run could throw at them, making me feel, super weak in the process, would have been nice. Those are pretty much the issues I had with the game when I thought about why I just stopped playing, and they did keep me happy, for 90 hours, so they did something right. But I didn't come back for any of the DLC or missions content. So take that for what it's worth. The content expanded on the experience by adding more raids and the like, but I was already kind of stuck in this weird space where it felt more of a grind than, a great tactical experience that I could have with multiple people, where a person brought something completely new and different to the table. So hey, take that for what it's worth. Tell me what you guys think about this format, and maybe I'll do this again in the near future. Peace.